Lewis Hamilton wrestled back some much-needed momentum from Max Verstappen by beating his rival in qualifying for the British Grand Prix, which will see the home favourite head to field for Saturday's maiden F1 sprint. In an epic and unique Friday evening qualifying session that sets the grid for a short Saturday race, rather than Sunday's showpiece Grand Prix, Hamilton delighted to packed grandstands with a customary Silverstone display, out-qualifying Verstappen by 0.075 seconds despite a last lap error. That was an important statement, bellowed Martin Brundle, with Hamilton slipping 32 points behind Verstappen in the league. This is down to the fans that are clearly motivated Hamilton in front of 90,000 spectators. The first Q3 lap was great, the second one was looking even better, but just lost the back end in the last corner, so my heart was in my mouth as I crossed the line. But I could see the crowd was really reminiscent of my first pole here in 2007. While Hamilton is not credited with an 8th Silverstone pole, with that honour awarded for the winner of the Saturday sprint, he stopped Verstappen's 3-race streak of qualifying victories and has put himself in the perfect position to land more blows to Red Bull, winner of the last 5 races. Valtteri Bottas out-qualified Sergio Perez numbers in third, and just a 10th off Verstappen in the other Mercedes, who hit back at Red Bull with their upgraded package. Perhaps critically, Sergio Perez could only manage 5th for Red Bull after having his last time deleted for track limits with an informed Charles Leclerc instead taking a second row start. Hamilton, meanwhile, was by no means not the only British driver to sign at Silverstone. McLaren's Lando Norris, after an incredibly difficult week, qualified 6th, while George Russell was arguably the star of the show as he nailed his best ever qualifying result, an astonishing 8th in the Williams. Russell, a Mercedes junior, had the adoring home fans on their feet as he got through to Q3 for the second straight race, and did so again when outpacing Carlos Sainz and Sebastian Vettel in the main shootout. Just an absolutely incredible performance from all 3 Brits, and as a Brit myself, it's just so brilliant to see all 3 British drivers doing so well on a return to Silverstone. Returning to an iconic Silverstone circuit, Sid filled with fans for the first time in 2 years, and Hamilton more than certainly did play up. Coming into qualifying not just on the back of Verstappen's domination in Austria, and also in Friday's practice session as the Red Bull driver held a 7/10 advantage, Hamilton built himself up throughout the shootout and unleashed pace, just behind Verstappen in Q1, but then edging ahead in Q2. Hamilton saved his best for Q3. He held a 0.172 advantage over his title rival after the first laps, and then was on an even faster effort before running slightly wide through the closing corners. That, as Hamilton explained, led to a nervy final few seconds as Verstappen behind him on track finished his last lap, but Verstappen flustered for that time for the first time in a long while as he struggled with car step-up, could not match him, and Hamilton and Mercedes now look a fierce force for the rest of the British Grand Prix weekend. Red Bull meanwhile have a lot of work to do, but at least with Verstappen on the front row for the sprint, it leaves the teams and the driver with intriguing decisions. The 17-lap race could be the ultimate case of risk versus reward, with the potential for mistakes that could lead drivers at the back of the grid for the main race on Sunday, against the potential for movements up the field. Hamilton was sure of his mentality. "I need to bring out the lion and giving everything," he said, and we would love to see that. Debuting at Silverstone, F1 Sprint is effectively a mini race run over 100 kilometres, 300 kilometres the usual Grand Prix distance, for if you don't know, on Saturday afternoon, one day ahead of the Grand Prix. Short, fast and without the strategic intricacies of Sunday's big race, F1 Sprint, as its name suggests, designed to be a flat-out sprint from start to finish. No pit stops are expected. The first edition of the F1 Sprint will take place on Saturday afternoon at 4:30pm. The 20 drivers start in the order they qualified on Friday evening, and their finishing positions 100 kilometres later will be the positions that they line up in for Saturday's Grand Prix. If you win, then you are starting Sunday's race from pole position. If you were 10th, then you start from that same spot one day later, while if you hit technical trouble or crash out, you will be at the back and left with it all to do. The 100 kilometre distance will work out to be 17 laps of the 3.7 mile Silverstone circuit. The sprint is therefore expected to last 25 to 30 minutes, with the condescended and stripped down nature of the racing action designed to be part of the appeal to TV viewers. Limited points were offered, 3 for first, 2 for second and 1 for third, but every other place don't get points. It will be the same British Grand Prix, however, that you know and love on the Sunday afternoon. 52 laps around Silverstone with lights out at 3am. 3 a.m. would be quite knackering, and especially quite dark as well, to be honest. The usual points apply for race day, and that's 25 for the victory, and a maximum of 26 as you get fastest lap, with 1 point given to fair play. So the only difference is the drivers who start in the top 10 are not locked into the starting tyre they set. Everyone therefore has free choice throughout the race, although the usual 2 compound rules apply in a dry race, which guarantees at least 1 pit stop per car. Before I go, here is the final classification for qualifying and the grid for the sprint race. Lewis Hamilton on pole. I think we talked about it enough, but just what a great job by him, really putting it out of the bag. So I think Max Verstappen will be disappointed, but a 400-kilometre race technically can do the job for him, hopefully for him. And then of course you've got Bottas in third, really solid again, outperforming Perez in what seems to be a relatively equal car, which is great for him. Leclerc in fourth, just an outstanding job from him, really getting back his mojo after a few difficult races. Austria, you could say. Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. I think Daniel Ricciardo will be happy, just slightly closer to Norris, but with Norris's incident in the week, he'll be pleased. And George Russell, what can you say about him? Just an absolutely outstanding job. Carlos Sainz in ninth. I think he will be disappointed in that, given where he's been recently. And then Vettel in 10th, happy to make it into Q3, I think. And then you've got Alonso, Gasly and Ocon. I think Ocon will be happy to be closer to Alonso, but yeah, Alonso and Gasly, they probably want to make it through to Q3. Giovinazzi, I think he'll be relatively pleased with that. Once again, comprehensively outperforming his teammate. But Stroll and Tsunoda just kind of seem nowhere in comparison to their teammates, which is really disappointing for them. And then, you've kind of got Kimi Räikkönen. You could say the same for him, really. He was nowhere again compared to Giovinazzi. He really needs to up his qualifying, Kimi. And then, of course, you've got Latifi, Schumacher and Mazepin in the last positions. Schumacher out-qualifying Mazepin again. And Latifi, really, when you see what George Russell is doing in that car, even though he's got the money, you do feel like he has to step it up a bit. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. If you have thoughts, comments down below, follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily F1 news, and subscribe to my channel on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.